Hello, welcome to another of my interview series. I'm Bea Marshall. I'm parenting expert and founder of Yes Parenting. And I'm really excited today. I'm joined by Dawn Bates. Dawn is an author, a coach, and a public speaker. She's worked and lived in both the UK and Egypt. She's traveled to many, many countries working on leadership and coaching projects, including Norway, France, and Italy. So Dawn, it's really great to have you here.
Thank you.
This interview is because Dawn is going to be joining me as a guest expert in my subscription membership group, which is called Yes Parenting for Happy Families. It's a group for mums only, but dads are really welcome to watch this video, as is anybody else who doesn't have children. And what I really hope is that as you watch this video, you're really going to get to know Dawn much more and just receive so much value and benefit from listening to her talk about her passions, about what she's going to cover in the group. And she's going to be sharing her top 3 tips for something that she's very passionate about. If you're a mum and you want to access incredible support on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, to support you in your quest to parent in a respectful, gentle and accepting way, then there's going to be information at the end of this video so that you can join my subscription group. So, Dawn, you have had 18 years where you have run 3 of your own businesses.
Yep.
You're an accomplished public speaker on what it takes to be an author, career development, parenting, community cohesion, team building and effectiveness, entrepreneurship, leadership with emotional intelligence. I love that. Cultural diversity and bringing about positive change.
Gosh.
That's incredible, isn't it? I mean, you're 39 and you've got all of that under your belt. You're also the parent to 2 beautiful boys. Would you be willing to share a little bit of your story in terms of how you ended up in all of these things and a little bit about who you are, just so that we can get to know you?
When you hear it read back to you, you're like, yeah, actually, gosh, that is quite a lot. It's, I grew up in a rural area of, Cambridgeshire, Norfolk border. We had an international farm camp in the village.
Okay.
And so I got to meet a lot of different people, and they gave me this zest and this passion for travel and learning from lots of different people from around the world. I met my ex-husband, who is from Egypt and Palestine. And so there's a lot of cultural diversity in the life we led. We met so many incredible people from around the world. And I remember my 25th birthday party, a couple of friends that were in attendance went, just look at all your friends. And I was like, what? Just like looking at them. And they was like, well, we're actually the only 2 people in this whole party. I mean, there are quite a number of people there. And she says, we're the only 2 people that are white and English that are together. Every single one of your other friends are like from cross-cultural like families and different nationalities. And,
wow.
And I'd never noticed it before because for me, they were just people. They were just my friends. And I mean, obviously, I knew there was like a plethora of different languages being spoken around me and lots of different cultural traditions and the way people greeted each other, the way people sat or ate or lived their life. And it was just something that was so natural to me, which was quite interesting, really, as I grew up in a very monocultural, very mono thought process area of the country where there was a lot of rural racism. It actually took me quite a long time to actually go, am I actually racist? No, I'm not. That's just ridiculous. Because you hear so much of it. And it was very, it was something that I came to grips with. And then I went to, when I was at college, going back a few more years, I remember being in this, I was training to be a hotel manager. So again, there was a lot of travel involved. And I remember I was given charge of this conference, and you had a lot of top executives there that were paying, I mean, back then, £10,000 was a lot. To a lot of people these days, £10,000 is still a lot. So there I am, like taking care of all these delegates, making sure they've got all their water and everything. And there's so much value. And I was like going home at the end of the night, I was doing all this work that these top execs were being taught and taking all the handouts at the end of the day. And by the end of that week, I had my whole life planned out to the age of 40. I was like, right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And if I want to have children at this age, and if I want to do this, I've got to do this by then. And it was pretty much, you know, the Stephen Covey, begin with the end in mind. By the age of 21, I had my first business because I'd been made redundant. And I was like, right, if I am going to be out of work ever again, it's going to be my fault. I'm not going to put my future in the hands of an employer. So I had that business that ran for 12 years, and I only stopped that one after I was really seriously ill with my second child. I lay there in the hospital bed going, do I want to do this business for the rest of my life? Not really. And it kind of, and because I had my own business, I was then invited to speak at a lot of events. I was asked to host a lot of coaching and mentoring sessions for the different universities around the country. One of my businesses it was a business-to-business networking organization. So we had 20 different locations around the UK. And so I ended up getting to speak and meet a lot of different people and get surrounded by seasoned entrepreneurs. So, and I'm always a yes person. Which actually reminds me of the Grange Hill song, Just Say No, back in the day, for those of you who are of a similar age group. It's like, no, you should always say yes. I know they were saying no to a certain substance, but you should just always say yes. So because I was a yes person, and because I was always up for it, and I've always been about paying it forward, because not everybody has the opportunities that we have in life. Not everybody has the tools to create the opportunities or to actually spot the opportunities. So it was always about giving back. And then when my ex-husband and I split up 4 years ago, I needed a business that would actually work around me being a single mum. So I was like, well, I've got all these skills, you know, let's just go for it. And about creating a business. And I've written 2 books now. I'm about to come to the third of writing my third one. I say they're my books. I've written quite a few ebooks as well. I've been on BBC Radio. I've been on BBC Question Time, where I nailed Robert Kilroy Silk. That's a very proud moment for me. I've been featured in quite a lot of magazines, and I made a documentary with Channel 4 a few years ago. So yeah, it's just opportunities present themselves, and it's about being a yes person and knowing that anything is possible.
Yeah, it's lovely listening to you share your story and talk about it, because you ooze passion when you're talking about all of this. You ooze passion. There's obviously a real kind of like go-getter attitude, and you're obviously someone who's great at taking action. I get very caught up in my thoughts, and then I often don't take action. It's something I'm really being intentional about at the moment. But I listen to you, and it's like action, action, action. Yeah. And at the same time, though, as being this kind of incredibly passionate, action-focused, forward-moving kind of opportunity-grabbing person, alongside that, you have this incredibly keen interest in spirituality, healing, neurosciences, health, fitness, and personal growth. And I know when we first met, you described yourself as a mermaid, like you just love.
So totally a mermaid.
Which really connected with me, because I really identify with unicorns. And I love moments like this in interviews, because, you know, people like, I mean, I want to bring value to everybody, but what I really want is the people who really get me to kind of like embrace it. So when they start hearing me talk about unicorns, they either get it or they don't.
Yeah, totally get that.
So share a little bit then about this kind of spiritual journey that, well, obviously you have been on, but you continue to be on. And can you weave into that your interest in kind of like the neurosciences? Because a lot of yes parenting is really kind of rooted in neuroscience, and increasingly my one-to-one work is all around healing trauma, unresolved trauma that, you know, often because we haven't given ourselves that opportunity we haven't given children a full emotional release and things. So I'd love it if, as you talk about your spiritual journey, you'd weave the neuroscience element in, because those 2 words like leapt out at me, and I was like, oh, goody.
I'm a geek. I love it. And just so you know, this nail polish is called Mermaid.
Oh, wonderful.
Gosh. Well, I grew up in a household, to start at the very beginning of this spiritual journey. I grew up in this household where you never spoke about religion, you never talked about politics, and you certainly didn't talk about money. There was, real scarcity around those issues, which, me being me, I'm like, well, why can't we? Well, what's so bad about it? Well, I need to talk about it. And then I started looking at religion because my grandparents, they'd get dressed up, they'd go to church, and and it just seemed that it was all the old people and the middle classes that went to church, and it was like, okay, well, what's with that then? And so I looked at that and I was, and then I went on to and I started studying all the Abrahamic faiths. I studied Taoism and Buddhism and Sikhs and Hinduism, Sikhism, and I'd always had a very spiritual side, and I when I was younger, I used to see auras, and my mum thought I was batty. She was like, "Oh my God!" She took me to the doctor, and took me to another doctor. She keeps saying people look a funny color, and it was because I could see the energy, and for me, it was like I saw them in colors. And if I didn't like someone, it was because their energy, that they had a darker vibe around them. And then I converted to Islam because for me it was all about equality. And if you look at the financial structure of Islam, it was very much, if people followed that, there would be no poverty. And the thing that drew me to it most of all was the Hajj, where everybody would dress the same, and it didn't matter what their social economic background was, it didn't matter what their ethnicity was or whatever. We all went to Hajj on wearing the same thing in the same way. And then, which is quite interesting, in 2012, which we know is a very powerful year for those of us who believe in the spirituality, it was the end of the Mayan calendar, and I just went, I can't be a Muslim anymore because it doesn't fit. It's crushing my soul. It's
Interesting.
I'm it's not, I feel so restrained. I can't be who I truly want to be in doing this. So even though there's still a lot about Islam that I absolutely love, and there are certain things that I still do, I still fast. Prayer has very much taken on a very different style for me. And I wrote a book about why I left. And it was a reawakening when I lived in Egypt. So I've always been somebody who believes in the spirituality and the different things. And I grew up by the sea, and hence the mermaid element of me. And I'd sit there when my dad was on the beach fishing, and I'd look out at these boats, and I just want to be out there. Don't want to be here. I just had this calling, and every time I'm near the water, every time I'm near the beach, it's like I just feel centered. And when I go off sailing, I sailed to Copenhagen a couple of years ago. I was just like this. My life is at sea. When I'm swimming, I swim about 5 miles a week. And when I'm in the water, I just feel like I'm whole. The water on my skin. And that was something else about, going off topic, that it was about how, as a Muslim woman, it was deemed that I wasn't allowed to wear a swimsuit, and I had to wear the full, and it's like, no, I need the water on my skin. It's for me to do that. And and even if I'm in the bath, I'm in there for hours, and it's like meditation music is on. But then one of the things that I realized when I started learning about the brain, that came about when my ex-husband had a brain tumor. We were on holiday in Greece, and waking up to that, him having a grand mal seizure, and then having to deal with it on a Greek island, where the heart monitor was more like a dot matrix printer than a heart monitor. And it was like, and it was just learning how to help him rehabilitate. And then I just got absorbed into the brain. I'm like, wow, this is so elastic, and we can just recreate different. And the brain is one of those And I was talking to a chap the other day on the train about how the brain is just so amazing, because even if one side of your brain or one part of your brain is not working, provided that you work on the other areas, the brain takes it on. The other areas step up. And when I was going through this and I was tapping in and I was reconnecting neural pathways in my own brain and in my ex-husband's brain, I just realised, oh, hello.
My dog going a bit bonkers.
He's just agreeing with the conversation. He's welcome to the conversation. And it just started me tapping more into myself and what I was born to do, and stepping into my soul purpose, and then using that and all the neurology that I learned, how I could implement that into my training and into my coaching. Because one of the things I'd seen over the years is people would go on a training course and they'd be all fired up for a week and it'd be like, yes, yes, yes. And then you'd see this decline. And that's why a lot of companies refuse to take people or invest in people on their training courses, because it works for a week or two and there's no longevity to it. So one of the first things to go is training or coaching. So I was like, okay, well, you need to break the behavior patterns, and that's very easy to do. And so I incorporated a lot of the neurosciences that I do into my training and into my coaching. And since I did that, the results I've had with my clients has been phenomenal. The results I've had in my own life, and again, stepping into purpose. I know that I'm a traveling nomad. I need to go. So in 3 months' time, I'm heading off. I'm taking my business completely location free around the world. It'll all be online, and so people will be able to access me still, but my calling needs to be fulfilled. And my boys are like, go mummy.
Oh, that's wonderful. Are they going with you?
They will be flying with me into New Zealand, and then they're going to have a big adventure on the way back, by themselves on the aeroplane. I mean, the youngest one will be on a supervised flight, you know, with his older brother as well as with the airline. But they are so excited about that. And then I will spend some time traveling around and boat hopping and sailing back from New Zealand via Australia, the islands, and Thailand, goodness knows where else the boat takes us. So yeah.
Fantastic.
Yes, this mermaid's going home.
Wonderful. And how long will you be away for?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Amazing.
No idea.
Having a location independent business, I mean, is an essential thing for me as well. I mean, most of my one-to-one clients are certainly in other areas of the UK, but I have lots of international clients, and it's such an important thing for me to be able to do that, so that I can just take my laptop and I can be anywhere. I also have kind of like dreams for traveling, but I don't know the timing on those at the moment, but that's okay too. So your passion is seeing people thrive, living a life that they absolutely love, and fulfilling their purpose and potential. And, you know, listening to you sharing aspects of your story today, I mean, you really do come across as somebody who is thriving, and, you know, he's living a life that you absolutely love. You're stepping into even more of what that looks like. And when did you start to kind of realize that, this is my passion, this is what everything in my business or my life is about, is supporting other people to thrive and to fulfill their potential and their purpose? Like, how new is that for you?
How new is it? I think that the biggest realization came when the marriage ended 4 years ago. That was the pinnacle moment. But I've always been someone that will always help other people, always. You know, and I don't know why this thought's just popped into my head, but even when I was a child in the first year of junior school, you know, I was very poorly and I was sick. And instead of the cleaner coming to clear up my mess, I cleaned it up myself. It's like, I can't let her do that. You know, and it's just little things like that, you know, from a very early age. And, you know, whenever I mean, I've always been one of those women as well that, you know, if I see a woman that looks good, wow, you look amazing. Or where did you get that dress from? I mean, I walk up to total strangers. I will cross the road to tell a woman she looks amazing. You know, and it's always been about helping other people. And I guess a lot of women are like that. You know, the fact that we have this nurturing element to our souls, you know, as mothers. And as mothers, and this is one of the reasons why I like working with mums and female entrepreneurs, because we are very giving, and you know, and as mothers, we give a lot of ourselves, and a lot of the time, and I guess you're going to find this with some of your clients, we actually give more to our children, and we actually allow our own love tank to become empty. And we're always giving, giving, giving. And, you know, seeing the fact that so many people have helped me on my journey made me even more determined to give back. But when my ex-husband and I divorced, I remember sitting at the dining room table. Well, you can probably see I have we call these Pictionary boards, because we play Pictionary on big A1 flip charts. I don't want these little notepads. And I sat there and I got my marker pens, and I'm like, okay, what do I want to do? What have I loved doing? What have I hated doing? What do I no longer want to do? I made all these lists, and it's something I go through with all my clients. What is it you love doing? What is it you don't want to do? And what skills do you have, and how can you marry those up together? I sat there and I pinned them to the wall. The boys would be like, Mummy, have you really done all of this? Like, yep. Like, you know, and it was great for the boys to get an awareness of who their mother was as well. And then I kept them on the wall, and I kept adding to them and just being with the lists. And then I'd cross out ones. No, I don't want to do that. Actually, no. Yeah, I've got those skills, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to use those skills. You know, and it was just about being present to who I was and what set my soul on fire. And we have, as human beings, we are an incredible piece of engineering, and we have so much potential. And as women, we are such a powerful force. We grow life within our bodies. We feed our children from our own bodies, even after they've been born, you know, and we will go to the ends of the earth for our children. And we make the best project managers, I am telling you. And this is one of the things I say to a lot of my clients: tap into that. You are so powerful. We are so resilient. Our children are so resilient. And I mean, like you, I'm all up for, yes, boys, let's, you know, do this. And bubble wrap parenting, as I like to call it, for me, we can protect them too much. And, you know, it's all about nurturing them to find out who they are, and leading by example, you know, and finding out who we are and going off and doing the things we love inspires our children. And instead of saying to my boys, what do you want to be when you grow up? I said, what kind of problem do you want to solve in the world? You know, and just flipping that for them. And they've gone, well, my youngest, he's only 10, but he knows what he's doing. He knows where he's going. He knows how much he's going to make. He's been reading my Grant Cardone millionaire booklet. Mummy, well, I could sell one product at this much, but if I sell this product at this much, and he's gone down the mathematical route like Grant Cardone. And Khalid's very soul-centered as well. He's very nurturing and I love my boys so much. And whatever it is that they want to do, I'm like, okay, how do we make that work? And again, it's coming back to, what do you want to do and how can you make it work, rather than, well, this is all I've got, what can I make work from that? And I flip it. What do you want to do and how can we make that work? And sometimes forget about the how and just trust in the universe.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it was interesting when you were talking about, you know, mums sometimes tending to give everything to their kids, and then, you know, they're empty. And the first yes in yes parenting is a yes to needs, and the first person's needs are your own. And it's only from saying yes to your own needs that you have the resources to meet children's needs. So yeah, lovely. So when you come into my subscription group, you're going to be doing 5 days of posts and then coaching within the comments and things with the members. You're going to be exploring, discovering your passion, making sense of your life, creating multiple income streams, setting your soul on fire, and then journaling and gratitude floods. And as I said to you before we hit record, I was like, you could totally do a week on each of these, and yet you're going to like take us through it in 1 week. I'm really excited about this on a very personal level. I'm looking forward to the whole journey, and I think with these things, you can go through the same journey over and over again because you get new things out of it each time. So I am particularly looking forward to what will be the Wednesday, which is creating multiple income streams, because that's very much a part of my journey at the moment. And then the Friday, which will be journaling and gratitude floods. Fridays actually in the group is always a gratitude day anyway.
Is it?
We make gratitude videos or gratitude posts. And I talk a lot about journaling and things like that. So I'm really excited to kind of come under your take on journaling and gratitude floods. I've never actually heard of the concept of a gratitude flood, so I'm like, whoa, it's exciting. So
it's something I picked up in Oslo when I was working out there. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. So I don't want us to go into all of that too much, because that's what you're bringing to the subscription group, and let's keep it for there. But what I would like, we've just got a few minutes left, so I really want to make sure that everybody watching, whether they're part of the subscription group or not, can walk away from this interview feeling like they can take action. They're inspired to know how they can start to walk into this life that they absolutely love, and their purpose and their passion. So, so could you share with us 3 tips that somebody can grab hold of, sit with, whatever, get their Pictionary board out and put it all up on the wall, however that individual does it, 3 tips that's going to get them going on this path to living a life that they absolutely love and fulfilling their potential and their purpose.
My 3 top tips would be: look at your internal self. Look at the way in which you speak to yourself, first of all. Because if there are certain things you would not accept another person saying to you, why are you saying it to yourself? And actually make a list of all of those thoughts, and then create a positive around that. So, for example, I'm not good enough, which is something that I hear a lot from my clients, or I can't do it. Just turn that, I am more than good enough. And always start with an I am more than good enough, or I am powerful, or I am beautiful. So all the things that you've got a negative chatter about in your head, write it down, get it out, face it, and then create a positive. So that would be the first one, about the internal, as well as the food that you put inside your body and the things you put inside. Because once the inside is working, then it kind of manifests on the outside, which is something that I'll go into a bit a lot more next week. And then actually looking at the external environment that you have. So looking at your home, do you collect the clutter? Do you have things or images that don't inspire you in your home or in your neighborhood? And look at the things, and anything that does not serve you now, or where you're going, get rid of it. I have this week gone through and cleared out so many old photos of people that are no longer in my life, I don't want in my life, or of times of my life I look at, I'm like, I don't even know why I took this picture. What even is that on that photo? Get rid of it. Magazines, paperwork, just cushions even. Get rid of it. Just have a proper clear out, because when you clear the clutter in your home, you clear energy, and you create a really nice flow of new energy.
Can I just say something about that? I use the Marie Kondo or the KonMari method, and when I first went through all of my books, and I was going through all my books, and I got rid of loads, and I didn't particularly, she talks about holding every item to see if it sparks joy, and I got that a lot with certain things, but not so much in my books. And I just felt like, well, this is actually really easy. got to the books, put the boxes of books I didn't want in the car. And as I was walking back to the house, I thought, oh my God, I've got to get through. And I ran to the loo and I sat down, and I'm not kidding. This is not too much information for you, but my body just released everything that was in my intestines.
Absolutely.
And I could not believe that all of that was held in my books.
Yeah.
Because when I was actually working through my books, it didn't feel like that huge shift was going. But once they were in my car, then my body was like, okay, now we release.
Now I can release.
Oh my God, it was
And
huge.
I tell you what, it also, we hold it, ladies. Want a flat stomach? Or you want to get rid of, because we protect ourselves. And our body has a way of protecting ourselves. So when we get rid of all the things in our life that are not serving us, the weight will fall away, because we no longer have to protect ourselves from our environment internally and externally. And the other thing I would say is, we've all got those people in our lives that whenever we're around them, they drain us. And we sometimes feel an obligation to keep these people in our lives. And one of the things that I started doing is paying attention. If I invited this person to a party and they said yes, how would I feel? And if I invited all of these people together into my home and they didn't gel together, pay attention to that. And if you're the person in the room that is the smartest person in the room, then have a look at that as well, because your environment creates your environment. Because I don't like being the smartest person in the room, because that means I'm not learning from my peers. And it might be that we both know Chris and Rob and what they have learned about gardening and allotments. And I'm like, wow, I mean, those guys are incredible. So it's about learning, what is it you want to learn to take you forward? So organic living, I needed to be around people that knew more than me in that space. So whatever space you want to step into, surround yourselves with people that have more knowledge than you do in that space. But anybody that drains you, or you dread seeing, or when you see their number come up on your phone, get rid of them. And I know that sounds brutal.
No, I love it.
But just because they are draining your energy, and they are negative. And unfollow them on Facebook. Remain friends with them, but unfollow them so you don't see the dirty laundry. And unfollow anybody, or just anyone that brings negativity to your life. Get rid of them. Yeah, including family.
I have done that. I have done that too. Oh, it's an ongoing thing. So I realised I interrupted you with my book anecdote, but I just felt really appropriate what you're saying. So you talked about your internal environment, your external environment. So tip number 3.
Tip number 3 would be to love yourself. And I mean really love yourself. Just even when you're in the shower, don't just have a quick shower. Actually really rub, stroke your own skin and make love to yourself. And really, because if you don't take care of yourself and you don't love yourself, then how are you sharing other people to love you? And if you aren't declaring that I need this space, then other people aren't going to give you that space.
Absolutely.
And it really is about self-love and going for a walk when you want to go for a walk, or just saying, I went to bed early last night at 8:30, and then I ended up journaling until 1 o'clock this morning and writing questions and preparing for something that I'm facing in my life. And I'm like, okay, I needed to do that. And my boys were quite capable of putting themselves to bed half an hour later. They are teenage boys. I'm not just leaving a 2-year-old or a 4-year-old. I just want to make that quite clear. But yeah, just love yourself, stroke your arms, feel your skin, and just really make love for yourself. And ladies, they're mentioning books. I've just had a massive clear out. I mean, I probably got rid of nearly 2,000 books over the last. And I still have probably about 1,000 or so. But there's 2 books that I really highly recommend. One is Love Your Lady Landscape by Lisa Lister. And it's all about tapping into your moon cycle and your monthly cycle and understanding where you're at your most strategic, your most creative, your most reflective, and your most, I call it your nourishment zone. and just knowing where your power is throughout the month. And then the other one is Code Red by Lisa Lister. Tap into your female power, ladies.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Would you please either send those book recommendations to me by messenger or by email? I don't mind. But brilliant. Okay, so thank you.
Write that down now.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Oh, there goes my dog again.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing yourself with us today. It's been just so amazing hearing your story, hearing all this wealth of knowledge and passion and wisdom, and those 3 tips for, you know, stepping into a life that you love and fulfilling your potential and your purpose, just so valuable. So I really, really appreciate it. And I'll see you in the group next week. You're coming in as an expert. And thank you very much.
No, thank you very much. It's been, well, no, thank you for thanking me, and thank you for inviting me. And to take a compliment is another extra tip.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, everybody, I really hope that you have enjoyed getting to know Dawn today. Please feel free to contact Dawn directly or to get in touch with me. Our contact details are at the end of this video. And if you're not currently a member of Yes Parenting for Happy Families, but you're a mum and you want incredible support from me and from a community of like-minded mums, then the information to join up is also at the end of this video. See you all soon.